What's up, Misfit Nation? Welcome to another episode of the Misfit Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Matt the Misfit. Tonight we're going to go over SmackDown for November the 18th, 2022. We're a week away from, 1 week from tomorrow, away from Survivor Series WarGames. We have the main event announced for Survivor Series. We also have LA Knight and Bray Wyatt feud continuing. We've seen the return of Kevin Owens. We also seen two very, very good World Cup matches between Mustafa Ali and Ricochet, and the other match being Butch and Sami Zayn. We've seen Karrion Kross beat the fuck out of Madcap Moss. And we've seen some interesting stuff going on with Bray Wyatt as well. We're going to go over that and much, much more. If you like what you see here, hit the subscribe button, comment down below, hit the like button, follow the social media at Misfit Wrestle TV on Twitter, at Misfit Wrestling Pod on Instagram, Misfit Wrestling Podcast on Facebook, and right here, you can find the link here on YouTube, youtube.com/at Misfit Wrestling Podcast, right here on YouTube. SmackDown was a very good show tonight. I enjoyed the show very, very much. Like I said, the build to the Survivor Series is doing very wonders on SmackDown. The only thing I didn't really like about the show tonight was Ronda and the Shayna and Shotzi match. It was kind of boring and bland, and Shayna loses again because of course she does. But let's talk about the match. Let's talk about opening the show. We had Brawling Brutes and Drew McIntyre come out, cutting a promo talking about WarGames, and we find out it's official. It's going to be the Bloodline versus the Brawling Brutes and Drew McIntyre and a partner to be named later on. Sheamus asks Hartford how they are doing. It says a lot of people are not happy to see him and McIntyre stand by side by side for WarGames. He says that he's gone to war many times over the years with McIntyre, but that time has allowed him to gain mutual respect and bond between the two. He says the Brawling Brutes wants to be broody, so there's no one he'd rather be in war with than Drew McIntyre. He asked McIntyre to be the honorary brute. McIntyre says no one knows him better than no one knows better than him what it's like to be outnumbered by the line. He says it's going to be a different story when the odds are even, and accepts his offer to be an honorary brute. At the pair shake hands, Rich Holland says, "Well, that's all nice and good," and then said it's fight night. McIntyre says he sees 4 men, but the question is who is going to be the 5th. Sheamus looks to introduce this person, but Sami Zayn comes out, cuts him off, or cuts Sheamus off, that is. Says the Bloodline doesn't care who the 5th member is. Probably should, Sami. Sami asks the Bloodline, asks if they think the Bloodline is worried. He says the Bloodline will win, tells Butch that he doesn't have to wait. He will run through him tonight and give Butch the taste of what to expect from WarGames. Sheamus then says he admires his confidence, but when he finds out who the 5th member is, he's basically going to shit his pants. Because it's not who he expects, even though I knew who it was for weeks now, because it's just obvious fucking storytelling. This is a great first opening segment here. Again, sets the stage for a little bit later on tonight and builds towards WarGames. Great opening segment here. What else is great is this opening match, first round match in the SmackDown World Cup tournament to see who faces Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship down the line. Ricochet defeated Mustafa Ali in a fun opening match. Like I said, bell rings, they lock up, they roll up one another before Ali whips Ricochet into the corner, delivers a clothesline. He delivers a chomp. Ricochet fires back with right hand. The two men ascend to the top rope, and then Ali delivers a backstabber to Ricochet. Ali sends Ricochet to the outside, delivers a crossbody over the top rope. Looks to go flying again, but Ricochet catches him, plants him with a body slam. Ricochet then tosses Ali back into the ring. Then ascends to the top rope to delivers a 450 splash while Ali is standing, by the way. Just want to point that out there. So Ali rolls out of the way, looks and locks in the full body submission. Ricochet gets on his foot. Ricochet gets his foot on the bottom rope to break the hold. Then delivers a clothesline and a moonsault. Goes for the pin. Ali kicks out. Ali hits a sunset flip, but Ricochet fires back with a kick to Ali's midsection. Ali delivers a tornado DDT. Then ascends to the top rope. Looks for a 450 splash of his own. Ricochet rolls out of the way. Then goes up to the top rope. Does a standing shooting star press for the win, and Ricochet wins. Advances to the second round to face Braun Strowman. RIP, dude. After the match, the two fist bump, and Ricochet helps Ali to the back. And then we go to the backstage area, the locker room of the Bloodline. Jay's yelling at Sami for taking on the behalf of the Bloodline part. Zayn asks, "What's the problem?" Jamie says that they need to be on the same page before Roman gets here, and tells Zayn to calm down. Then he tells Jay not to worry about Sami. Tells them that they need to figure out who the fifth member of Brawling Brutes and Drew's team is. They go back to. Then they go to a video package last week. The incredible Usos New Day tag team title match. They replayed that incredible video package for their match. And then we got Caleb Braxton backstage with the New Day, asks how they're doing after the loss last week, and losing the record of becoming the longest reigning tag team champions in history, which says not so good. Kingston says all that hard work is gone. Then we have Giovanni Vinci, formerly Fabian Eichner, calls them, the New Day, the biggest clowns of WWE. Ludwig Kaiser, or if you want to call him Marcel Bartel, says that they are everything. What's wrong with the wrestling business? Talking about the New Day. He says that they have to pick up the pieces and restore honor to WWE. New Day mocks the trio, then says they will find a tag team partner so they can meet in the ring a little bit later on tonight. We head to the back. Madcap Moss is warming up. Emma walks in and asks how he's doing after his loss to Karrion Kross last week. I said Riddick Moss, didn't I? Madcap Moss. Well, it's the same dude. Madcap Moss says it was humiliating and wants revenge tonight. Good luck with that, pal. Emma encourages him and says that she knows how athletic he is. The two exchange a glance before Madcap Moss goes out to the ring and gets his ass beat by Karrion Kross again. Oh, so this was funny. So I seen somebody talk about this in the chat with Steven Larson. They were talking. They were doing a live watch along for Rampage, SmackDown, and whatever Impact's going on. And somebody in the live chat, I don't know who it was, but I thought this was funny. They said Karrion Kross is Sullivan Bo Brown ripped, and now that I've seen that line, I can't unsee it now, because now I'm just gonna think of Sullivan when I see Killer Kross, which is kind of funny now. I love Sullivan; he's great. Shout out to Sullivan Bo Brown, by the way, one of the nicest people in the world. But like I said, we go to Killer Kross beating the ever living shit out of Madcap Moss. Don't really need to know much about that. Locks in the cross jacket. Madcap Moss taps out lightly, but he does. After the match, Emma comes in to check on Moss. Then we got a Bray Wyatt promo. Bray Wyatt, life is a trick. Hopefully, Orange Code Orange releases the song soon because that'd be fun. Wyatt says that he started to realize he's been conditioned to a certain way of life, a certain way of all his life. Or Wyatt says Wyatt says he started to realize he's been conditioned to a certain way in all his life. He says he was conditioned to take and be strong, but he's been looking at the path behind him. He left behind him. He says it's covered in blood and ash, and questions why he does the things he does. He says he would know how to handle the situation if he were LA Knight. He says he would want to apologize for what he did to him. He says he had a moment of weakness and strayed from his path. LA Knight's music comes out. LA Knight says that he's been playing the encounter for over. He's been playing their encounter from last week over and over in his head. Says that his apology has him conflicted because he sees something in his eyes. He says that the fact that he didn't fear him last week garnered some respect. Says no one has ever gotten him. LA Knight then says that he's not sure what to make of his apology, but he sees respect in his eyes. He slapped Bray Wyatt in the face, which okay, that's strike one there, Mr. Knight. Strike one says, and his apology is accepted. Now they're even. Wyatt then says they're even. Says that there's a lot he wants to do to him, but he's fighting his urges, which is great. I love that little attention to detail. He offers him a hand. Bray does, and LA Knight then slaps him again. That's strike two. You're a dead man. There is the look Bray Wyatt gave into the camera and into the cold, dead eyes that he had for LA Knight. LA Knight is going to die at Survivor Series. I'm assuming that's the match that's going to happen at Survivor Series. While LA Knight is heading to the back, we see flashes of Uncle Howdy on the Titantron. Then we go to a replay from last week where Shayna choked out Shotzi, and we got Shayna Baszler losing to Shotzi. Let's move on. I don't want to talk about this anymore because I'm even, and I thought this was going to be good for Shayna, but nope, nope, that's not at all. Whatever. Let's move on. I don't want to talk about that anymore. Let's move along here. It was shit. We're back. We go back to stage. LA Knight is leaving the arena. Mega Morant asking if he's leaving because he's scared, and LA Knight says he's leaving because he's done his work. He's done for the night, basically. But when and a lot of people didn't notice that. Or a lot of people noticed it, but I love the attention to detail. As LA Knight opens the door, you see Uncle Howdy in the back, like in a dark room area. It was so creepy, but it was well done. It was like a horror movie, and I loved it. It was so good. Speaking of LA Knight's dead backstage, basically, is what happened. He's got a bunch of stage equipment on top of him, and LA Knight is just out. So, let's pay our mad respects to LA Knight silence after dying on SmackDown tonight at the hands of Bray Wyatt. Next up, we have New Day and Braun Strowman defeating Imperium. This also pissed me off quite a bit. It's probably going to be Braun Strowman who wins the fucking tournament, but why did you have to have Gunther run from fucking Strowman? Like, this is the Intercontinental Champion, the guy who's had battles with fucking Nakamura, Sheamus. Sheamus, he went to war with Sheamus and he's scared of fucking Braun Strowman. Come on. After that, Braun Strowman's backstage. Ricochet interrupts him, says he's going to beat his ass next week, whatever. I do think it's funny that Ricochet brought up the flippy shit tweet from last week, which had garnered Braun Strowman a lot of fucking heat from everybody in the back. That was funny. Next up, we had the main event. We had Sami Zayn and Butch in the main event. Fun matches. I believe this is the first time Pete Dunne and Sami Zayn have ever wrestled each other. I don't recall. I'm pretty sure Sammy's. I'm pretty sure Pete Dunne's wrestled Sami Zayn's buddy over there in Mexico in El Generico, but never against Sami Zayn. Two lock up. Bunch immediately stomps on Sami Zayn's hand. Zayn fires back with a pop-up powerbomb. Yep, you gotta pay attention to that one. Tosses Butch to the outside. The bloodline of the Brutes face off. Then, Zayn tosses Butch back into the ring. Butch delivers a tornado DDT, then delivers a step up enziguri, ascends to the top rope. But Zayn pushes him outside to go to a break. They come back from break. Butch starts manipulating the fingers of Sami Zayn on the top rope. Zayn pushes Butch off, then goes flying. But Butch catches him with a forearm. Butch gets fired up, but Jay then tries to distract Butch. Zayn takes advantage, rolling up. Pete Dunne. He follows that up. Well, Dunne kicks out, but he follows that up with a blue thunder bomb. Then Dunne kicks out again. Outside, brawling brutes and the bloodline begin to brawl. Cindy send each other flying to everywhere. Meanwhile, Butch manipulates Zayn's figures again, breaks them. He takes the Usos out with a moonsault to the outside from the middle rope. Butch then charges at Zayn. Zayn catches him with an exploder, looks for the hoover kick. Zayn and Jay spill out to the ring momentarily. Drew and Zayn spill into the ring momentarily. Zayn stops from completing the haluva kick. Butch takes advantage, hits the bitter end for the win. Butch advances to next week's semifinals, and then it's going to be Butch taking on Santos Escobar, which should be a lot of fun. That should be very, very fun next week. After the match, the two teams start brawling again. Roman comes out there, takes a sweet ass time while his bloodline is getting their ass whipped. He heads to the ring. Paul Heyman's there as well. Delivers a super punch to the Ridge Hall and then hits Butch with a spear. McIntyre calls for him to get in the ring, but with him. Reigns meets him there with a spear. Sheamus gets into the ring. They stare down. They start exchanging forearms, but Zayn attacks Sheamus from behind. Sheamus then takes him out, but Reigns delivers a Superman punch. Steps up for the spear. Out comes Kevin Owens. Music. He hits the save, laying people out with super kicks. Heads to the ring, revealing himself as the fifth member for Team Brawling Brutes and Drew McIntyre. Stares down Reigns in the ring before the two men brawl with each other. Then stares down Sami Zayn, who tries to hit a luva kick from behind. Reigns hits him with a Superman punch. He sets up with a spear, but Owens managed to hit the counter into a stunner. The two teams stare at each other as SmackDown goes off the air. SmackDown was a very fun show tonight, outside the two things that pissed me off, which was the women's match between Shayna Baszler and Shotzi and the having Gunther run from Braun Strowman. Other than that, everything else on the show was great. Also, I just love seeing Madcap Moss get his ass whooped. Karrion Kross beating people up is fun. Also, seeing Scarlett is a bonus as well. But like I said, the opening match and the main event are highlights for the show. Well, one of the two highlights for the show. One of the four highlights of the show, actually. 5. Actually, there's several highlights. Match quality wise, two of my favorite matches this night. Ricochet, the two tournament cup final matches here. The Bray Wyatt LA Knight stuff is intriguing as hell, and I'm enjoying it. Kevin Owens is back. That WarGames match is going to be fire. So here's the updated card for Survivor Series. We have the men's WarGames match. We have the Bloodline, which features Roman Reigns, the undisputed Universal Champion Roman Reigns, the tag team champions, the Usos, Sami Zayn, and Solo Sikoa. They will be taking on Sheamus, Pete Dunne, Ridge Holland, Drew McIntyre, and Kevin Owens for the men's side. For the women's side, we have Damage Control, which is Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky, the one half of the women's tag team champions. For the women's side, we have Bayley, the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Io Sky, Dakota Kai, Damage Control, with Nikki Cross and Rhea Ripley. They're going to be taking on Bianca Belair, the Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair, Asuka, Alexa Bliss, the OCs Mia Yim, and a person to be named. We will find out next week on Raw who that will be, or maybe they'll save it for the pay-per-view. We may find out on one day. Ronda Rousey defends the SmackDown Women's title against Shotzi Blackheart, and Finn Balor takes on AJ Styles. We did find out on tonight's show for Raw, it's going to be Asuka versus Rhea Ripley. Winner of that match gets the WarGames advantage for the women's side, and also on SmackDown next week, it's going to be Drew McIntyre and Sheamus taking on the Usos. The winner of that match will earn the winning advantage the team advantage for WarGames in the men's match. We do know that also on SmackDown, we're going to have Ricochet, Braun Strowman in the semifinals, and also in the other semifinals, we're going to have Santos Escobar versus Pete Dunne. And on Raw, I think we do have a U.S. title match. It's going to be, I believe it's going to be Seth Rollins versus Matt Riddle versus Austin Theory versus Bobby Lashley. I think that's what I saw. I'm not 100% sure on that. Don't quote me on that, but I think I've seen that somewhere. Other than that, SmackDown was a good show. Much better than last week, outside of a few things, in my opinion. SmackDown is actually a way better show than Raw is at the moment. And Raw was doing some good stuff too. So, but tomorrow night we got AEW Full Gear review. We also have the very next day we have the New Japan Stardom show. Start crossover. The main event of that show, like I said, Mayu Iwatani versus Kairi Hojo, IWGP Women's Championship. Also in the main event of the Full Gear, Jon Moxley defending the AEW Championship against MJF. Two fun shows back to back, hopefully. In a couple hours, I will be watching the Stardom Gold Rush show, because that will also, like I said, play into the the main event for the Stardom show, the New Japan Stardom show. Because tonight we have Saya Kamitani taking on defending her Wonder of Stardom championship against Kairi. That should be fun, but like I said, whoever wins that match basically kind of confirms who's winning the women's title on Sunday. Also, we're gonna have the rematch between Shiri and Utami Hayashishita, who most likely is going to deliver another classic, because that's what they do. But until then, I will see you guys tomorrow night for AEW Full Gear. Until then, I've been Matt the Misfit. Hit the like button, all that stuff, all the social medias, all that stuff is going to be in the description down below. Until then, I will see you guys tomorrow night. We're out.